Yo, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, great.
How do you feel about the depth and deep safety?
Continued progress.
What kind of progress has been made by some of those young guys?
I think we're really excited about the future of the young players. It's at times a frustrating process that I have to remind myself that some of the young men should be preparing for who to ask for their proms. And we're trying to have them cover the deep half or man match and accomplish what we want to a very high level. So you always got to have check yourself and have a little more patience with the guys that haven't been here as long. But from a talent standpoint, really excited about the young group that's came aboard here and done a hell of a job adapting to the culture and what we're asking of them.
With what you added at corner with Cam and Jabbar and Sione in terms of compared to last season, how much more confident are you guys as a defensive staff about just the depth and relative quality of depth at the top at outside corner?
Yeah, it all starts there with talent acquisition. So now our job to develop that talent and then retain it, and we're in a much better place we were 27 months ago coming here. So that was our goal, to each room really, and that's not going to happen overnight. So started assembling that more to what Coach Lanning and myself is used to from a standard standpoint up front, and then build this thing, in layers, and think that we've certainly taken some huge strides towards that direction of, establishing some depth, really at every position.
Where have you guys gotten better this spring? Where's the improvement been this spring from practice 1 to 13?
Yeah, I think I hope everywhere. That's the goal. So we dove in deep on our self scout and really try to recognize who we have, so we can attack spring ball with who we can be, not necessarily who we want to be. So again, it starts with assessment of the personnel, and then adapting that to the wrinkles that we've experimented with, from a professional development standpoint, postseason of where we could get better. So I hope the answer is everywhere.
One of the young guys in the mix at safety for you, Tosh, is Aaron Flowers. What have you seen from him as he makes this transition to college ball here in the spring?
Yeah, Aaron's he's a gifted athlete. What I love about Aaron is he loves ball. So he's a guy that's I always challenge him to make new mistakes. And so he's a guy that's going to come back with a sense of urgency to fix what he might have messed up the walk before or the practice before. Gifted athlete, has got all the things that we knew going in from a point A to point B, elite stride, his vertical jump capability, ball skills, everything's there. So it's our job to channel all that in the right direction, and that's what we're trying to do with him.
What do you want to see Saturday, and how will you evaluate success?
I would say it's a successful day if we get 10 turnovers and score on defense 3 times.
You have 3 redshirt freshmen on the interior there, so just for guys who didn't play as much last year for obvious reasons, but what if Johnny or Mikhail or Terrence, what have they seen here in this spring to put themselves in a better position?
Yeah, it's been awesome, man, to see the front. By volume, I believe we had our top 4 defensive tackles all leave by volume of reps, so major vacancy there. We only brought aboard 1 portal individual, so young, really talented group. Again, we got to recognize that there's going to be some growing pains at times there, but excited about the future and the continuing development of these guys.
What do you see from Amari Washington and just his development at that position?
Yeah, Amari Washington, from a physical standpoint, measurement standpoint, fully capable of being an NFL player. So as we tighten his technique, make sure he's going in the right direction, as he attacks his playbook, starts to take some ownership of not just a waiting of telling individuals where, for him to where to align. As he masters that, which he's begin that progress, really excited about his future.
Coach, just kind of piggybacking from a couple questions ago. What are you looking for from the players in this spring game specifically? And maybe more importantly, what are you not looking for, and what do you not want to see them do come Saturday?
Okay, well, what I don't want them to see is play with a lack of effort. What I don't want them to see is not attack the ball. And what I don't want them to see is play undisciplined football. So if you take the opposite of those three, that's exactly what we want. So we want to play with a relentless effort. We want to attack the ball at a high level. And I want to see those guys playing for each other. You know, that's what I think we've, I would like to say, holistic from a whole spring standpoint. You know, these guys have done that, you know, and have played with each other, played with a lot of passion. I'm really excited to be a part of this group. So when you get to wake up and go to work and you're going into a building from a coaching staff and a player's standpoint where you have a bunch of like mindsets, you know, that makes work really, really fun. So that's what I'm excited. I'm excited about the culture of this defense, and you know, we've got plenty to improve on. That's what this is all about. So spring, you know, we're going to go hit the road there, but I fully, the expectations of the leadership of this group, nothing lowers from how we're going to go attack the weight room. You know, some possible bonus meetings that the leaders, you know, are directing without coaches present. You know, that's where I think we take this to the next level and treat it just like we did in the National Football League, where you know, your best teams, the best teams that I've ever been a part of, are player-led.
Staying with the leadership, there's been a handful of players that have told us throughout the spring that a big goal of theirs this spring was to become a better leader. Who are the players on the defensive side of the ball that you've really seen grow in that aspect this spring?
Yeah, it all starts with Jeffrey Bassa, who, you know, ended with great leadership. I think what has been noticeable on his film, you know, I really challenged him that he's a draftable prospect. You know, he's one of the best in the country as far as coverage and space, and to take his game to the next level of what he's doing on a first and second down consistent basis of his fundamentals and technique, physically striking blockers, shedding off blockers, tackling in space. That's exactly his improvement plan this spring, and he's answered that on a consistent basis. So, you know, he's going to see his stock dramatically rise in the National Football League if he continues that trend. So what I love about that is he's been a vocal guy, but now on a consistent basis, it's easy to watch his film, and he's leading by example. You know, in a back-end standpoint, you know, a guy like Nico Reed stands out that, you know, he's got an edge to him, the way he plays. Guys are always going to constantly feed off of that. Dante Manning's made some major strides there. Again, our newcomers, of course, Jabbar Muhammad, Jamari Caldwell, some guys that, you know, we're putting a lot into and putting a lot on right now. You know, we've had them from a limited time. You know, I certainly could have mentioned a lot more, but I think those guys stand out as starting to lead by action, and that's what we ask of our guys. You know, we don't need to have a bunch of rah-rah guys. You know, we want both coaches and players to have juice with content.
You mentioned Devon's entering his third year. Jeff's a proven commodity. Justin was a little bit limited at points here, and Bryce has been out with baseball. He's getting extended run. How confident are you that he's ready for an increased role, increased opportunity, increased reps? Yeah,
I would say Devon Jackson is arguably, if there was an award, he'd be arguably the most improved on our defense. He's a guy that has elite speed, not above average, elite speed. His GPS is constantly reading over 21, which sometimes is surpassing the DBs. But he's doing a much better job from a communication skill. I think, you know, having a guy in front of him or with him and Jeffrey Bassa, you see that picture kind of consistent basis, and you see the success that comes from it. So he's stepped it up dramatically when it comes to that, and now, you know, it's not the old story of Bassa off the field. Our defense is the standard is lowered because of the lack of communication. You know, Devon being out there has done a really quality job of that. So got to continue that trend with him.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, now.
Thank you, Tosh.